Good evening, everyone. It's Jazz. It's the West Ham Minds channel, and it's the opening first show of the January 2023 transfer window breaking news show. The transfer window officially open Sunday, January the 1st, 2023. It closes at 11 p.m. on Tuesday, January the 31st, 2023. First of all, I want to thank everyone who's watching the video and who has been watching us recently. Channel's been going live for about a year. We are racing towards 1,500 subscribers, so I want to thank every one of you for your support. And if you are watching regularly, first of all, thank you, but also please subscribe. There's a lot of you who watch regularly, and I'm very grateful for that, but also please subscribe. That kind of helps you with my numbers and that kind of thing, really. So yeah, I want to thank you for that. And yeah, any news on transfer window for this January window, especially related to our beloved West Ham United, please follow me. I will be doing videos as and when we get gossip or breaking news. And the first bit of news that has come out earlier on today, actually, before I get into that, you remember my video yesterday, and we spoke about sort of what David Moyes has not quite done enough of in 6-7 transfer windows that he's had, and some of the issues within the team are still there. So before I get into that news, which is West Ham have been offered one or two strikers, really, and before I get into that, mentioning the names and what's happening with that, yeah, if we first of all have a look at what we think we need, I think that's a good starting point. And when you look at the last match at Brentford, let me just share my screen. Won't be a minute. Let's have a look. There we go. So if we look at that first, okay, if we do have a young goalkeeper, Areola, and David's got to decide what's he going to do with him. You know, he's not going to sit around forever. He's on really, really good money. It's really, really odd what's going on. So he's got to decide what he wants to do with him. Or does he want to put him out on loan and go for someone else? But you just can't leave him there, because I think Fabianski's got another 1-year extension like crazy. So he's got to decide what he wants to do with him. I think you've got to give Areola a chance or bring another young one in. It's a very important position in the team. And this is the whole pattern. The back four, back five is a complete mess. You've got to look at the goalkeeper position. I wanted Pope in, but he very wisely chose Newcastle. That's fine. Fullbacks, you've got to bring in fullbacks and change them around. The fullbacks we have, whether it's Kehrer, whether it's Kufal, whether it's Creswell, Johnson, you've got to kind of, or even Emerson, you've got to change it. None of them are good enough for an ambitious West Ham or what we want to see him do. So you've got to go out in the market and look for fullbacks. So I think you've got to go in for a young goalkeeper, or you start with Areola, or you bring in a couple of fullbacks, I think. I mean, we've got 4 or 5 centre backs, but you've got to think about moving Oggy on and decide with Dawson what you want to do. Agar and Zuma are nearly fit, but obviously that boy from Brazil has come in. I'm not sure if the work permit has happened. Looks like it has, so he'll be. But then they said he's not for the first team for now. They'll want to just look at him for 1 year or so and see what happens with that. So he's not going to help us this season much. We got to bring in another young centre back, I think, a couple of fullbacks, and review the goalkeeping position. Creativity wise, Benrahma for me isn't the long term answer. You've got to decide whether he's going to be a sub, and he's happy to be sub, or try moving him on if the funds are not quite there. So you've got to look at that. Paqueta, you've got to get more out of him than what I've seen. It's a mind-boggling, puzzling situation there. So we need more creativity, and that can come from the wing backs that I'm hoping we'll sign. I know I keep saying fullbacks, they've got to be wing backs, right? You saw that Alexander-Arnold assist yesterday, Trippier and Cash and all those guys, what they do. It's got to come more width through that as well, but we need more central creativity as well. Strikers, we need 2-3 strikers. So we need to look at a goalkeeper position, a couple of wing backs, resolve the creativity issue in the centre, and 2-3 strikers. That's what we got to look at. I'm not saying he's going to bring going to bring a lot of those in, because that's what we need. But the next issue is what I'm hearing from David Moyes, is that he doesn't want anyone in again. So we're getting the same sort of kickback from him again. The club want to help. This can't carry on. He doesn't want anyone in. So no one will certainly be leaving. And if you get a bargain, he might bring in one. So he's not concerned about anything that we're seeing, especially in the forward positions. Need 2 strikers in, proper strikers, not wingers, proper strikers. Someone who's a bit like Danny Ings, and then a strong, powerful one that can fight with Scamacca, that kind of thing. I like 3 in, but 2 would be enough in the window. It's hard to do, right? So he doesn't want anyone in, and that's how concerning it is. So let me know in the comments what you think. Again, about what we think we need. And I've given so many positions, even though 7-8 came. Don't forget 7-8 went. 7 will be leaving the club again this summer. Huge upheaval that he never proactively planned for, right? And total mess. And again, in this windows are so precious. There's only 2 in a whole year. He doesn't want anyone again. Really, really driving me up the wall. Sooner he gets out of club, the better, really. But the news that's coming through is that we are looking at, in terms of the directors, the scouts, and the board, we're kind of looking at a couple of strikers that we have been linked with, we have been offered, we have spoken about, and they're there to get. If you've got the ambition, you've got the financial clout, they're there to be sort of have. So one of them is Ben Brereton Diaz, 23 years old, plays for Blackburn. Blackburn obviously got ambition of their own. They're looking to kind of go up themselves. They've fallen out the automatic positions. They're kind of in the top 6 at the moment. His contract is up in the summer. He's not going to sign another one. He's more leaning towards staying and then going as a free agent. But if you offer the right deal, the right money, where you give Blackburn some money, you loan him back to them, I'm happy with that. And we don't have to scramble or compete for him. That'll be a very sensible move. It'll make sense. But I don't know if we've kind of got the brains to do things like that, right? That's what would make sense, is give them a little bit of money, 5 million. They're not going to get anything in the summer. Nice little contract for Diaz with a lot of incentives built in there. He's 23, 24. I saw him live in the flesh in that game, and he is very big, very visible on the eye, works hard. And I think that's what we need. He'll give you an option with Scamacca, and you still go for the little striker as well, and another one in the summer, so you'll have 4 by the end of the next summer window. Again, pre-planning it, right? Bring the average age down again. That's what I think we need. But whether we think like outside the box, but I don't want to blame the board, because Moyes doesn't want him, he doesn't want him, right? And that is just a pain in the backside, where you get all the work done and he just has one of those frequent last minute things where he doesn't want anyone, right? Sometimes he's got players as far as the medical, and he's changed his mind on them last minute. Very difficult to work with a manager like that, right? So Diaz has been offered to the club, but as it stands at the moment, Moyes says he doesn't want anyone, but the board are keen. It'll be reasonable, good price, and he'll offer us lots of options. He can play on the wing, he can play up front by himself, he's big enough, and he can play in a 4-4-2. That's what we're looking at, right? And he doesn't get injured that often, so hopefully we won't get the issues we've had with Agard or Cornet and that kind of thing. So that's kind of the news coming out. In terms of his record, quickly, he's got 9 goals in 26 league games, and he's got 1 goal in 3 in the EFL Cup. I think one of those was against West Ham. The previous year, he got 22 in 37, so very consistent for the past 2 seasons. And he can play left wing, he can play right wing, obviously can play up front as well. So great options there. 23 years of old, really. So he'll be 24 in April. He plays for Chile. He's got 4 goals, 17 caps. So all in all, and he's used to the climate here. All in all, one of those Tony type of players. If we wait till the summer, you're going to cost a bit more in terms of the package and the signing on fee. And if someone else buys in, then in a couple of years, if he kicks on in the Premiership, which I think he will, value's going to double. So I think we've got to go in for that kind of deal. The other player is Marcus Thuram, whose dad Lilian won won the World Cup with France in 1998. So he's of very good stock. There you can see him in the picture now. Plays for Borussia Mönchengladbach in Germany. He's only 25. He got into the French squad in this World Cup, which is a huge thing. He's got 9 caps, 25, 6'3", 6'4", very big guy. His attributes are what I've been told is dribbling, finishing, very quick, positive, and usually stays out the box, comes in late, so it's hard to mark him really. And he can play in the left wing. He played the left wing last season, only got 3 goals in 21, been moved up front this season. It's completely changed him. 10 goals in 15 in the Bundesliga. And he's the current manager, and everyone is already saying this guy is he's going to be very, very good. Some people are saying potentially world class. I mean, if he's got into the French squad at this early age and only sort of having about a season up front and smashing it, what more do you want? Price, you're going to be looking at 30 million. Man United are looking at him. 1 or 2 other clubs are looking at him. That shows you how highly he's regarded, his stock. So again, you got to think what you want to do with Scamacca, or maybe we move 1 or 2 on, or start thinking about spending the Rice money now. But what I'm really worried about, and I do want to say it again, is that I don't really want David Moyes to be at the club when we planning to spend the Rice money, whether it's 70, 75 million. It's going to be between 70 to 100 million. I don't really want David Moyes to touch any of that. I don't think the directors do. And hopefully he'll be gone in a couple of weeks and we won't have to worry about that. But you just got to think outside the box as a manager, as a board. Gave you example of that Diaz deal where you can loan him back to the club. They get a bit of money and you've got him in the bag. You don't have to run around and panic when there's 15, 20 clubs after the free agent in the summer. Here, let's spend some of the Rice money now. And then the other 40 million, 50 million on the CDM. Examples are that Man City might come in for him. We get Phillips in return. I think, well, Moyes is keen on him, whether the next manager is or not. So that's the kind of thing. I don't think that 70, 80, 90, 100 million is going to go very far. So I'm thinking about get this boy in, another Scamacca value, another 35 million striker in there, play him as a winger if you want, or rotate him with Scamacca, and the other 45 go for, I don't know, Ward-Prowse or someone like that to come in. I don't know, or move Souček. You got to think quick. Dave Moyes takes too long dropping out of form players. Then he keeps playing the ones that are out of form, and then very slow in identifying targets for the scouts and the ball to work with. So these are 2 players that will be moving on very, very shortly, whether in this window or in the summer. I think they're both great signings, both big people, powerful, can play on the wing, can play up front. What more do you bloody want, right? But I will be bringing them in to kind of play up front. I keep saying I want 3, 4 strikers. I want 5, 6 people fighting for those 3 positions behind. I want 2 wing backs at minimum, the goalkeeper situation sorted out, and creativity in the middle sorted out as well. Whether it's going to be Paqueta or Benrahma, shift them out if they're not for you. Start looking out there, really. So these are the things I wanted to talk about in this episode. The other thing quickly I want to go through is there is a online website that's identified 8 players that you could get in January. They're famous players, good players that for one reason or another are out of form, not in the team. There could be a chance to grab them. Let me just go through that list with you guys. One is Harry Maguire. We all know about him. Depends on how desperate you are. You know, the age is good, the stock is good. It's just up to you. So Harry Maguire. The other player from the same club, Wan-Bissaka, I don't think I'm going to be getting him. He's suddenly back in the team now and playing really well. I thought that would have been an absolute steal with his pace. And he can play wing back. I think he's got it in him. He's got the pace. He's got the power. He's got the system material in him. But unfortunately, I think he's back in favour now. So that's him. Van den Beek, again, very, very odd, like Dele Alli, gone totally off. But I think the kid's good. I think what's important on that Dele Alli, I think he's got a good head on him. He's a good team player. I don't think he would cause too many issues. Again, yeah, the deal, 35 million deal from Ajax to Man United didn't work. So, yeah, if you don't fancy Benrahma, or perhaps you want to bring him on loan next to Rice, I don't know, it might work. The boy can play in that gap, in that number 10 gap like Lanzini. Lanzini's on the way out. Think about him, I mean, it's just an opinion and an option. Guy called Spence, a young right back at Spurs. They paid 20 million for him at Borough. Getting no games, so he's up for grabs. Felix, I don't really like this guy. Atletico Madrid paid 127 million from Benfica in 2019, but I don't really like him. But all the big clubs, his agent is Mendes. They're all after him. He can play on the winger up front, but just not too sure about him. Pellistri, is it? Fernando Pellistri, yet to make his senior Man United position. Coutinho, injury prone. He's available. Memphis Depay, he's available, 28 forward. We'll see what happens with him. Nat Phillips, centre back. We were linked with him in the last couple of windows. 25 years old. He could do as a 4th, 5th backup. I've got no issue with that. He's up for grabs. Cedric Suarez at Arsenal, 31 years old, fullback. Just featured 4 times this season. Again, he's available. Could end up going to Fulham. I'm not too sure. So that's the kind of thing we're talking about. We're talking about the mindset philosophy of Moyes. He doesn't want anyone. He doesn't see any issue with anything, which is daft. Then you've got obviously the positions and the number of players I think we need to identify and bring in, and some players that are available who are not quite hitting the ground running, the kind of people Harry Redknapp used to like to bring in. But I don't think we're going to do any of the things I have mentioned in any detail or number. As long as David Moyes is here, you're going to see a very frustrating and quiet window, but fingers crossed. Again, not being nasty, but I just want him out of our club ASAP, and we can bring someone in with fresh ideas, more energy, different message, many different ways of playing, nice one-touch football, and happy to go out and spend money and bring players in, and happy to improve the players that are not so working for us, and quick to identify if a player's going to work or not, and move them on, recycle the cash, and let's get on and bring this West Ham kind of train back on track. It's just gone off track about a crash, isn't it, everyone? So anyway, I will try to bring these every day if I can, certainly when an interesting news breaks. Transfer window breaking news show up and running, episode 1. Again, thank you for subscribing. Keep subscribing, and I will bring you more and more shows in the coming days as things heat up. So have a great evening. Take care. Come on, you Irons. Let's spend some cash again.